Hello, Mr. Gazda here. This is 213 coloring. Dang, Earth is old. What this is you need to color on the next page. And what that is the centerfold of the reference table. Okay, I shrunk it down to be on 2 pages. In a real reference table, you're going to see it's much larger, which is going to be much easier on your eyes. I'm going to recommend that you have your real reference table out to help you, because it's going to just be much easier to see. But I couldn't even really film this. It doesn't really even fit on my screen here. So I'm going to use what you'll be coloring. So, but let me just point out, this is a serious. There's a lot to this. So please, this is the timeline of Earth, okay? And it's the main timeline is here, and this is all in millions of years ago. If you can see, this is. I'll do this on the large reference table. Okay, this is in millions of years ago, right here. Okay, so this is 0 million years ago. This is 500 million years ago. This is 1,000 million years ago. So that's 1 billion years, 2 billion years, 3 billion years, 4 billion years. You can put 4,000 million years. That's true, but we prefer 4 billion years. That is 4.6 billion years. That's the age of Earth and basically our solar system. 4.6 billion years. So this is the timeline going back. Now, basically, so you go from the beginning of Earth, you go up this way, time is really ticking by, billions of years, and then a lot of the maybe more interesting or more stuff started to happen right here around 540 million years ago. And so there's a lot of activity, especially life on Earth and things happening on Earth that kind of we see today happening here, but it would be very small for them to write them, so they expanded all of that out to here. Okay, so all of this right here would kind of be written really small and crammed in here. Okay, so understanding this is key. And then this is sort of, they break it down to different sections. These are eons. This is like a larger subsection of time. And then they break down into eras. And if you look, just this Phanerozoic eon is broken down into Cenozoic, Mesozoic, Paleozoic. And then each era is broken down further into periods, and then broken down further into epochs here. Okay? And then it has life on Earth, New York rock record. It shows what rocks, where there is rock in New York State from that time period. Fossils that we see, important geological events in New York, and where land masses were at different times. And on the bottom you have different fossils, sort of pictures of them, and they all have letters and they relate to this. So figuring this out is key. Looking around, this video will really help you. Here we go. Without further ado, let's jump into this. So I'm going to be coloring on here. Look at the first one. It says, on the chart from the reference table on the following page, color the Triassic Period blue, only the period column. So Triassic Period blue is, period's going to be here, Triassic is here, I'm coloring it blue, and it's going to look like this. Okay? So notice this whole time frame here of 251 million years ago to 200 million years ago, we call that the Triassic Period. Okay, that's the first one. Second one, color from 416 million years ago to 359 million years ago, red, and we're coloring both the period and epoch columns. Okay, something called epoch. It depends how you want to pronounce it. We're going to color those red. Here we go. What, 416 to 3? So 416 is here. 359 is here. Okay, and I'm coloring both the period, epoch columns. Here we go, red. Here we go. So I'm going to color it like this. Okay, it does say kind of color lightly. You don't want to color too hard because you may need to see these words later. Okay, so that's the second one. 3, color the geologic period when Pangea broke up, yellow. Color only the important geological events in New York column. So you're really going to kind of look, and it's going to be here. Pangea broke up, if you can remember that from the plate tectonics unit that we did. That was supercontinent. You got to really just kind of look around, and I'll tell you, Pangea breaks up is right here. Make sure you know that, recognize that. Pangea breaks up right there, and I'm coloring just this column, so just this box. And that's yellow. Pangea breaks up there. Okay, for the quiz, that could be a good question on there. You've been warned. Number 4 says color from 520 million years ago to 470 million years ago. Brown, estimate carefully, and color the epoch column only. Epoch column only. 520 to 470. So this involves some estimating. What am I doing? I'm doing 520 to 470. So I got to look right here, millions of years ago. 520, and maybe I'm going to do 520 about here. About here, maybe 520. And then what am I doing to 470? 470 is maybe about, it's in here somewhere, okay. And I'm calling only this column here, so you get the sense right there. Color that brown. Reasonable estimates are good, but it's hard. The scale here is not really shown, so I think that's reasonable for brown. That's number 4. On to number 5. Look at the life on Earth column. Color the period in which the earliest sharks existed. Purple. Color only the life on Earth column. So I'm looking for some purple. Going to find some sharks. And if you look here, you got to look real closely. Earliest ammonoids and sharks. That's hard to find. So the sharks is right there. Right there. Coloring that purple. Earliest sharks. So that's when you first see sharks on Earth. Prior to that time frame of 400 million years ago, there were no sharks, and they're still with us today. Next up, what are we doing? 6, color 3.5 from 3.5 billion years ago to 2.2 billion years ago. Yellow, only the eon column. Here we go. It's the only one you really could color. What are we doing? 3.5 to 2.2. So 3.5 is right here. Okay, and then 2.2 is probably right about, like, that's 2.5, so maybe in there. So it's about this. And I'm doing yellow on this one, right? Yellow right there. There we go. Okay, so that's that time frame. What's that, like that's like 1.3 billion years of time. 1.3 billion, that's like hard to wrap my brain around. 1.3 billion years. Amazing. I do like thinking about that stuff as you do this. Or other than that, it's just a boring chart if you don't think about what this represents about the time frame of Earth. It's amazing. Next up, 7. Look at the time distribution of fossils column. The black lines represent when each species lived. Find the species that existed for the shortest period of time. Color over its name and black bar with red. Okay, so this is like a timeline. So trilobites, first see trilobites here. They existed till here. They went extinct about 251 million years ago. Nautiloids, look how long nautiloids live for, a long period of time. They first see them here, and they continue on to exist to today. So if you see them around today, they've been around for 490 million years, still with us today. Okay, the shortest time frame, the shortest line here is going to be placoderm fish. I'm coloring it red. Here we go, right there, coloring it red. So the coloring just kind of helps you find things on here. That's the idea. And what do I got here? Now I'm on 8. In the important geologic events in New York column, find the time period when the evaporite sedimentary rocks, rock salt, and gypsum were found in New York State. Color it blue. So I got to look here. And look, salt and gypsum deposited in evaporite basins. Okay, and we see those. We remember that back from the rock unit that we did. We could find those today. There's some salt mines in New York when there was an ocean covered New York, and then it evaporated, leaving behind those evaporites in that time frame of 430 million years ago, which is also awesome to think about. Here we go. 9. Look at the time distribution of fossil column. Makes a small red star and a letter represents the organism shown here. So that is it right there. Now, where to find that is you go. Let me pull out my regular reference table here. See it a little bigger. You got to look around for that picture. That picture is this one here. Okay, number C, Phacops. Okay. Where are you going to find that? Look, the letter is key. You would find that right there. Okay, so that is when that organism there lived on Earth right during the Devonian period. So, and then, let me see, what am I calling here? I'm doing something with red, I think. A red star on it. I'm making a red star on it. Okay, and that represents this right here. That is when that lived on Earth. So that's what these fossils at the bottom mean, and their letters. It can be a bit complicated, but it does make sense. There is a method behind all of this. Up next, is 10. Look at the time. Make a small blue square on a letter that represents the organism macrolites in this column. So you got to look at the names down here. I'll do that again. I got to do that again. And what am I doing? What am I doing? Oh, okay, so you got to look for the names. The names are all pretty difficult to pronounce. You're going to find that one over here. Okay? It's represented, it looks like a spiral type shell, represented by the letter W, which is going to be right there. And we're making a blue like box around it or something. Blue square on it. Blue square on the W. Okay. Next up is look at these species: Ammonoids, dinosaurs, corals. Of these, find the one that existed on Earth for the longest period of time and color of its bar and named blue. Ammonoids, dinosaurs, corals. Ammonoids. So dinosaurs are here. So you could figure out that. So you can just go by length. Dinosaurs, ammonoids. Look, ammonoids live for much longer. So the ammonoids were on Earth for much longer than dinosaurs. And then what was the other one? Corals, I believe. Corals. Look at corals. They first seen on Earth around 510 million years ago, let's say, and they still exist today. So I'm going to color over that with blue. Corals has been around on Earth for a longer period than those other two, than dinosaurs or ammonoids. So there we go. This is up next. 12. Color the Mesozoic era yellow. Only the era column. Here we go. Mesozoic is this right here. See the name? It labels this whole time period here, and so this represents the Mesozoic era. Sorry if I'm off the page. And within there are three periods: Cretaceous, Jurassic, Triassic. This is a lot of coloring. 13. 100 million years ago to 180 million years ago. Purple. Estimate carefully. Epoch column only. 100 to 180, and I'm doing it purple. 100 to 180. So 100 may be about somewhere in here, about, to 180 maybe to about there. And I'm coloring this column here. Okay, so this just helps you get, these are the numbers here you got to use for the, again, these were millions of years ago. Next up, 14. Most of the coal on Earth formed around the same time. Coal we found today all kind of formed this one time frame on Earth. And this is when large forests existed on Earth, kind of swampy forests. Look at the life on Earth column. Color this period of coal formation brown. Only the life on Earth column. Here we go. So you got to look here. It says extensive coal forming forests. Okay. So this is the Pennsylvanian period. It's a Carboniferous period or Pennsylvanian period, which is in the Paleozoic era. And so this is that time frame right here. That's when the coal formed. So all the coal we burn today pretty much formed during that time. All right. And 15. Look at the time distribution of fossils column. Make a small purple star on a letter that represents the organism shown here. And it looks like that. So you are going to go here. It's Coeliophysis. It is represented by the letter L. And am I making a purple something? Purple star is represented here, which it is a dinosaur, so it's in the dinosaur, on the dinosaur timeline there. And I'm going to make a star on it. Okay, so that's the coloring. Hopefully it just got you to understand some stuff about this chart. And I'm going to do a part 2 because this video is going long. So check for part 2, which is the back.